Hey YouTube, this is Laura Reines, and I am back with the answer to my third Ask Laura question. And again, as before, I will read the question and then I will offer some of my perspectives in terms of responding to the question. So my first question here for today is, Laura, does it teach a child a lesson if you spank them? Well, that's a very good question, and before I even get started with this, I want to start off by saying that the whole issue of child discipline is really kind of a touchy subject, and I know that it's very heated, and there are people that believe, on the one hand, that parents should not lay their hands on their child for any reason whatsoever, and then way over on the other end are those people or those folks that believe that, spare the rod and spoil the child, which essentially means that your child has to know who's boss, and if it takes a form of physical punishment to get that point across, then so be it. Personally, I was raised with the punishment very much fitting the crime. By that I mean that if I did something that was small, my punishment was smaller. If I did something that was considered larger, and in my case that would have been something like open defiance, where one of my parents asked me to do something and I just openly, outright defied them and did it anyway if they said not to, or did not do something that they wanted me to do, then, oh yeah, I got the spanking. My parents never used an object to spank me, so there were no wooden spoons or belts or paddles or anything like that. But I can say that my dad had some pretty tough hands. So I wanted to start off by saying that and hoping that we can all respect each other's opinion on this area. Again, my goal is never to offend or to make waves or anything like that. But since my personal perspective was asked, that's what I'm prepared to offer today. I do, as always, welcome your comments or questions, and go ahead and put them in the comments section. I'd be happy to kind of facilitate a discussion on this topic. Now, getting to my personal views on spanking. Do I believe it teaches them a lesson? In and of itself, no, I don't believe that it does. I believe that spanking or other physical punishments, if used incorrectly, such as when you're spanking or putting your hands on your child out of anger or frustration, that can sometimes backfire, and what it does is make your child afraid of you. And I've always believed that as a mom, I want my child to obey me and to do the things that I ask them to do out of respect and not out of fear. And I think there is a difference there between those two. And if you have children, you might be nodding your heads and saying, yeah, you definitely can tell that there's a difference between those two. So if done out of anger, fear, or if you're feeling aggressive, or if there's a power struggle and you want to show your child who's boss, I don't believe that putting your hands on a child for discipline will get the desired effects as much as some other ways. I will say I do feel that there are times when more assertive, not aggressive, but assertive punishment is necessary. If your child openly defies you, like I mentioned in my personal example, I think it's okay to be a little bit more aggressive with your punishment. No, I'm not saying abuse your child. I will never say abuse your child. Hear me say that. What I am saying, though, is that I think for something like stealing something, even if they're children, or for swearing at you, or ignoring a request, calling you names, hitting you, I'm not sure if simply going to the timeout chair is effective. So that's kind of how I'm coming at that. I do believe that in instances that are more mild, there's just no reason to use physical punishment. I think that a lot of what you want to accomplish, you can accomplish simply by talking with your child, helping them understand what they did, why it was wrong, and why you're reacting the way that you are. I'm not saying you need their permission, but I'm just saying part of it, I think, is communicating with our children and helping them to see. I also think it's important to communicate with our children before the incident even occurs. So, for example, before I take my children in the store, especially when they were younger, I would say, okay guys, here's the deal. We're going into the store. These are the things that mom needs to get. We're not getting candy. We're not getting toys. We're not, so what I would do is lay out those expectations before we even set foot in the store. And I would also be sure to tell them, okay, so here's what's going to happen if there's a fuss in the store. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. So back to the question at hand. No, inherently, I do not feel it teaches kids a lesson if you spank them. I think it can make them afraid of you, and so they're obeying out of fear, like I said, instead of out of respect. I think it can help them to see or encourage them to see that hitting is the way to solve problems. But on the same side, I'm also saying that I do think that the punishment should fit the crime. So I will never fully endorse hitting a child with an object, but I think there may be a time or two when a swat on the behind over their clothes may be enough to get their attention, so that then you can talk to them and you can tell them what they've done that's wrong, or work through it that way. And before I close today, I wanted to also say that one of the things that I do with my children is to ask them, why did you get in trouble? Or why is it that mom was upset? I want to know if they can articulate to me that what they did was wrong. And if they can do that, then I know that we're on our way to coming up with a solution for the problem, or even an appropriate punishment for whatever it was that happened. So those are some of my suggestions. I passed them along to you. Thank you for watching today. I will be back with another question and my insight. Until then, please feel free to comment. Please subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more of this same kind of thing. And as I always say at the end of every video, I will be in touch very, very soon. Thank you so much for watching today. Have a great day.